Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review slash knife overview to share with you guys. These are the Arcane design, the Creature. They come in quite a few different configurations. You're only seeing two here, but I just looked through. In fact, I'll link these. They're available. I'll link them down in the description. You guys can check them out if you want. But there's a ton of different configurations. So you can get Tanto, you can get drop point, you can get drop point in the DLC coating, you can get the Tanto and the satin finish, right, and then different colors of frames. There's even Damasteel and Zerkatai. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So it's all linked in the description. You guys can check it out if you want. Thanks to Arcane Design for sending these in for me to take a look at. They will go back to Arcane Design when I am done. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me, and please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. I'm going to move one of these out of the way while we do size comparisons here so that we just don't have too much clogging up the screen there. Let's do something a little bit bigger. I kind of like the idea of continuing on with the 8010 as a size comparison because it is, you know, one of the larger knives that I'll actually carry. All the custom scales you can find down in the description. Original Goat and Flightanium. So up against the 8010, you can see there, it's fairly large. In fact, you know what would really help is if we did the measurement there. That's it's about 8.5. Is it almost exactly? Yeah. Blade length, 3.75 to the middle of the frame. About 3.65 for the cutting edge. Let's go ahead and put it up against the Ontario Rat Model 1 and the Ontario Rat Model 2, which was hiding from me there. And how about the Spyderco PM2 and the Spyderco Para 3? There we go. And then last but not least, let's put it up against the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue. And you know what I'm going to do? I kind of like the idea of doing the original Goat Hogue Deca instead of the Bug Out. I mean, why not, right? They're the same size. All right, how's the action? If you didn't know, the Arcane Design knives are made in China, but they are made in an extremely premium way. And as you can see here, and honestly, in my opinion, these Arcane Design knives have only gotten better. The flipping action is great. The detent is great. The pivot action is great. The only thing that I don't like so much is this. I mean, it is literally a thumb barrel. It's just the exact same diameter all the way to the. I don't like thumb studs like that. Even if it does sort of complete the aesthetic, I still would prefer something functional like the thumb stud on the Ontario Rat, which is essentially the most perfect thumb stud that there's ever been. But that's okay. You can ignore the thumb studs and just use the flipper tab. Access to the lock bar is also very good. You don't have to pinch your finger in there. There's no double clutch or anything. It flips exactly the way that you would want it to. How about carry profile? Thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. It's, you know, with these overlays, it is a little thicker up here, but those overlays do not continue for the entirety of the frame. So the frame itself, it's very nearly, maybe slightly thicker than the Para 3, but with those overlays right here especially, it is a little thicker. More so, I think you'll notice it in the weight because it is full titanium. Length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3. Closed, it's a little shorter than the PM2, including the flipper tab. It's approaching, but not quite as tall as the PM2 or Para 3. Whoops, throwing my stuff all over the place today. Weight, we are looking at CPM 20 CV. So while the assembly and manufacturing of the knife is Chinese, the CPM 20 CV steel does come from the United States, right? It's something that's worth pointing out. They didn't use M3. I mean, it's not like M390 comes from China. It comes from Bowler, or, you know, if it were 204P. These are all the same composition, essentially. That's also USA. So this is, you know, American steel. To my knowledge, it's actually 6AL4V titanium, which is also from the United States. When it's from China, it's TC4. Their grade 2 TC4 is the same thing as our grade 5 6AL4V. But as far as I know, this is 6AL4V or American titanium, right? Now, who knows where it's sourced? But there you go. There's some information there if you're new, right? A lot of people don't know that. So we have titanium and CPM 20 CV. There is a little bit of weight reduction there, a little bit of milling on the inside. The weight is actually less than I thought it was going to be, 4.62 ounces, right? For 3.75 inches of blade. Did we say 3.8? Something like that. It's not bad as far as full titanium knives go. Some people will notice the weight versus what they've been carrying, but it's not an absolutely monstrous knife by any stretch of the imagination. So most people will be good to go unless they just prefer much smaller, lighter knives. Let's go ahead and measure blade stock thickness while I have the calipers here and they're not lost. Blade stock thickness is coming in at about 155 thousandths. In a lot of ways, this is kind of like, it reminds me a lot of a ZT. In fact, Arcane design for the longest time has felt kind of like, it's kind of space tactical, like tactical space warrior, you know, but it has that ZT feel in a good way, right? I miss ZT. ZT hasn't been in a good place for a long time, right? I mean, I think largely because it's become so unbelievably expensive to manufacture knives in the United States. But yeah, it really does feel like that. Now, believe me, we're going to talk about that price tag here. Let's go ahead and do a hardware check. I'll get out my tools as per usual. My tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use in this channel. We're going to get out a T8 here. The pivot is in fact a T8. That's going to be the same on both sides. Pocket clip screw is hidden and most likely a T6, but the body screws here are also T8. And I think that, yeah, they cut off before the frame ends. So that's really it. Lock bar insert screw is also T8. Really not any complexity in the disassembly process here. As long as you have the right tools for the job, you should definitely be good to go. Okay, let's get into the meat and potatoes. I really like, you know, between the two, it's the same as, you know, when I unboxed it. I think my favorite blade shape is the Tanto here, but I would have preferred, I think, probably this exactly with the Tanto, or the black frame and the satin blade with the Tanto, which is something you can do. You can interchange in any of the colors of frame with any color or style of blade. So you want satin tumbled, you want satin black, you want black satin, right? You want black, whatever you want to do. Plus zirconium, and then you can choose between a drop point or a Tanto. Tanto is a compound blade, so this initial grind is hollow, and the secondary is flat. Of course, you have two different edges to sharpen. The drop point has a continuous flat ground blade that's just got some belly, nice tip there, right? Only one edge to worry about. As far as thinness behind the edge, this one's okay. Relatively thick. This one gets a lot thinner, right? But it's also a Tanto. This is more about just carrying it for cool factor. Comfortability is pretty good, right? It looks like a very angular knife and is knocked down in areas that you wouldn't expect it to be. That's kind of the name of the game with Arcane design. However, these are much better than the first ones. I remember the first one being, it was like the Necronaut or something like that. It was one of the first ones. Wow, that was really striking, right? That aesthetic was something that I had not seen before. Now I've seen it quite a bit. In fact, it's mostly within their own line, right? He's got a certain language, certain design language, and on the upside of that, his knives are immediately recognizable. On the downside, we've been continuing along the same path for so long that a lot of these designs kind of start to run together. And that's okay, right? I mean, you could say, well, okay, but look at Hinderer knives. Like, a lot of their stuff looks exactly the same, and you're a huge fan of that. That's fair. That's absolutely fair. It comes down to how much you enjoy the aesthetic, right? Now, that we did have one in their line. I think it was the collaboration with Elijah Isham, and that one was wildly different, right? So I think it might be a good idea for him to continue to collaborate with different people and then sort of combine his design aesthetic with somebody else's design aesthetic, which I know he does. I think that's, I'm not saying I don't like the Arcane design aesthetic. I'm saying it's starting to kind of just blend. It's sort of just, everything is just sort of bleeding into everything else, and everything is so similar that it's hard for me to remember the names, right? I think it might be a good idea to get more personality from other designers into some of these, because the design aesthetic is cool, but we should start, this is just my opinion. It would be cool to see it hybridized with other styles, other well-known styles, right? And I know that's not just like a snap your fingers and get it done kind of thing, right? That's not, I mean, I'm making it sound like I'm just rubbing a magic lamp, like, oh, please, this is what I want. But I think it might be a cool idea. I think it might jumpstart things a little bit for Arcane, because I just feel like I've been seeing a lot of the same stuff. There is, some fairly, there's some interesting machining going on here. We've got a little area, a little valley sort of milled in with a couple of slots. I don't really know what's going on here. To me, what this looks like, number one, this actually is kind of a gunk trap. This is just going to fill up with pocket lint, both sides. Number two, it looks like it had an inlay and it fell out. And I am certain that I am not the only one to think that. I'm certain that the comment section's already got that there. Am I wrong? When I saw that they had a Zerkatite kit for it, I honestly automatically assumed okay, that's where they're going to put the Zerkatite, right? No. They put it on the backspacer and the pocket clip and this thing right here. This was, in my opinion, this was a missed opportunity to give this design a little bit more personality. This actually would have looked really cool had you extended this piece down to here and made it, like in the past, he's done red, right? Do the aluminum inlays, do the blue, do the green. It would have been really, really cool. Or keep this piece right here and add something different. Carbon fiber, right? You could do a silver twill. You could have added micarta, different colors of G10. That would have actually given this a little, not a lot, but a little bit more personality. And I really feel like it was a missed opportunity. I don't know what's going on here. Now, this is just an aesthetic complaint. It doesn't hurt the knife in any way functionally. In fact, truthfully, I think this is one of their more comfortable designs and one of their more purpose-built designs. So, if you're wanting the cool factor of an Arcane design, but you're also wanting the utility of just a good premium knife, well, this is it, especially in the drop point blade. I think this is probably one of the most purpose-built designs that they have, right? It's just, why? Why did we not put something here? It just looks like a perfect place, especially with these extra slots milled out. It really looked like there was something that was supposed to lock in here and it just fell out. So, I don't know. That's my take. Maybe that's a hot take. I was just a little bit disappointed with that. But again, it does not take away from the knife functionally. It's weird, especially with those little slots. The drop point blade has a flat that reaches maybe 60% the length of the blade, a nice swedge, right? This is one of their less aggressive looking blades. And then the Tanto, I would say, is much more in line with the general aggressive aesthetic of, the Arcane design knives. Nice swedge up here. There's actually a little bump right here in a separate angle. And then we have a nice long Tanto. Either one will work just fine, and they're both just created to perfection. As far as the fit and finish goes on these knives, they are perfect. Anyways, there's a little bit of jimping up here, which is good. I enjoy that. I think that it's in a good place and it complements the index finger position really well. There's a nice sharpening choil here, which is also good. The flipper tab I also think is shaped really well. You can do the push button. You can do the light switch. I think I kind of want to light switch this one a little bit more, just given that you're kind of pushing down on the top of a rectangle there. The light switch works good. The D10 I'm going to say is about medium heavy. I wouldn't call it quite heavy, but medium heavy I think is just about fine. Another reason I think the inlay might have been a good idea is it does at least partially cover the lock bar, and they probably could have lifted over a little bit more, saving you that half second of fiddling and trying to find a good position for your index finger or your middle finger while you flip it so that it's not on top of the lock bar. But I think people are going to say that's a little bit of an iffy one there. It depends on the size of your hand and how aware you are of that lock bar. There's a backspacer. There's nothing special going on with the backspacer. It's just a simple titanium backspacer, but it is a full piece of titanium and not a standoff, so we should take note of that. No lanyard bar, or lanyard hole, but who cares? The vast majority of people don't. No mounting position for left-handed people, which is a bummer. It would be nice to start seeing that more, but we don't have that in this case. We have a milled titanium clip on either knife, on both knives. I think it's a bit long. I think they probably could have shaved it down by 25% or so, but truthfully, it doesn't really create that much of a problem ergonomically because it's not super duper tall and it is rounded down. This is a milled clip, right? Steel lock bar insert that doubles as the over travel stop on both knives. We have a stop pin located in its traditional spot with a lot of shouldering, right? No blade play up, down, left, or right. This knife obviously runs on bearings. We have no pivot lash. Very smooth, very consistent action, and a nice detent. Both of these knives operate identically. I think this one might be a little bit, it's not tight. I think maybe it's just the finish on the blade, or, well, actually, No, it's writing right on top of that finish, so that's what it is, right? But yeah, the D10 is good. Let you guys see that here real quick. Ooh, very nice. And then perfect centering here. Keep my fingers off that blade so you can see. And also on this guy right here. Both perfect, no detent lash on either one. Exact same D10, right? These are cool. I've always liked the Arcane design look. I just think I want to see a little bit more variation between the models, and I think a really good way to mix that up is, when there's a collaboration with another designer, there needs to be a bit more personality, a little bit more from the other designer. I think that would be a lot more interesting. And I keep coming back to the Isham design, where it was very clearly heavily influenced by Isham, and it really made the combination of the two aesthetics something really special here. This, I think, could have been a little bit more interesting had we done something with the area on the frame, where it looks like there should have been an inlay. I think that would have been really cool. The other thing that's really confusing is the price tag. I just don't, it's really high. I think these start at $370. It's not the most terrible thing in the whole world. $325 to $350 was where I was hoping to see this, and it just is a little bit more than that. It's not that high of a percentage up from what I was originally thinking. These are way up there, and you can get similar quality for substantially less. It's cool. I don't know if it's cool enough to get me to want to pay that much more money for it, but it's okay. There's not enough here for me to say that this one stands out amongst, the Arcane design line. And also, it's not going to stand out versus its competition. There are still a lot of them there, and if you like this, then by all means pick it up, right? Because it is a well-made knife. It's a functional knife. It would be cool to see a little bit more personality from these. I think I'm at the point where I'm repeating myself over and over again. But yeah, I think it would have been cool. So that's my thought. Not something I think people are going to beat down doors for, but interesting. I hope I wasn't too harsh on these, because they are nice knives and they're made well. So please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do of course have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.